Hello and a very good day everyone. So today we will learn on how we can actually prepare a dashboard in Power BI. So let's get started. So if you look in this particular file, we do have a database on inventories listing, whereby we have the list of inventories and also the inventories code. We also have another worksheet which deals with CRM, which means the customer relationship management, containing the details of the company's customer, the customer ID, the customer, the PICs, the states, and also the credit terms. Then we also have another database, another worksheet detailing on the sales order. So we do have the invoice, the date issued, the invoice number, customer ID, inventory code, and also we have the quantity and unit price. So what I'm going to do is I want to actually import this data to Power BI, and from there I want to create a dashboard. So let's get started. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my Power BI desktop. So first thing is I need to import data from Excel. Why? Because my file, the original source is located in an Excel file. So first thing is I need to actually click on import data from Excel. Once I click import data from Excel, you will notice a box will appear. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the particular file. So you need to know where you save your file. Is it in the desktop, downloads, document, OneDrive, or shared desk? So the thing is I save my file in Excel file material. I'm going to press it open. So once I press open, you will notice a box will appear. So in this particular box, you will notice that we will contain the three different worksheets. So I have the CRM, so the customer relationship management. So what I'm going to do is I want to select all this. So I select this and all of this. So I selected all of this. Then what I do is I go to transform data. Why I go to transform data? This is because I actually want to go to Power Query Editor, and in this place where I want to do some editing, whereby I want to perform some data cleaning. So first let's start with the easiest one, which is inventories listing. So in this particular database, our real table is this table over here, which is the inventories and the inventories code. So this first column is not necessary. So I'm going to press here, right click, and I'm going to press here remove, and just like that the first column has disappeared. But you may ask me, what is null? Well, to just let you know, null means referring to a cell, a blank cell. So instead of showing a blank cell, Power Query will show null. So what I want to do next is I want to remove the first three rows. The first row, second row, third row. I want to remove this. So what I'm going to do is I want to actually click on remove row, and I click on top row. Why top row? Because the first three rows is located at the top. So I'm going to click on remove top row, and how many rows I want to remove? Well, I want to remove 1, 2, 3. So 3 rows, and I'm going to press OK. And just like that, we have already removed the rows, and I want to promote the first row as the header. So use first row as the header. So now this is our first database. Next, let us go to the CRM. So for the CRM also, I need to do the same thing. I need to remove the first column. So right click and remove. And then I also want to remove the first 3 rows. So I go to remove row, remove top row, and remove the 3 rows. And then I press enter. And then if you notice the first row containing the header. So I want to promote the header. So the first row be as the header. And just like that, this is our details. And then I'm going to do the same thing for our last database, which is the sales order. So here I'm going to right click here and I click remove. And I want to remove this one, the first 2 rows. So remove rows, remove top row, and remove the 2 rows and enter. And then finally, I want to promote these rows as the first row as the header. Just click it over here, and there you go. So now we have these details. So what I want to do is I actually also want to calculate the total revenue, because here we have unit price, here we have quantity. So 1 unit is 7,997 ringgit. So I want to know the total revenue. So what I need to do is I need to select these last two columns, and then I go to add column, and then I click standard and I click multiply. So once I click multiply, it will eventually multiply, and over here I want to rename it to total sales. Okay. And then I also actually want to format this data, because this data is mixed. We have date, and time. So instead of ABC123, I actually want to put this in a date format, so that it is formatted in a date, and eventually later it can show in a proper visual. So now we have CRM, we have inventories listing, we have sales order. So if you notice carefully, in inventories listing, we have a column called inventory code. And when we go to sales order, we also have a dedicated column called inventory code. It's just that the spelling is different. And in sales order, we have a column called customer ID. And in CRM also, we have a column called customer ID. So now what I want to do is, I want to actually press home and close and apply. So when I press close and apply, eventually it will go back to Power BI. So it will eventually load over here. So once it load over here, you will notice there will be a relationship being detected among these three tables. So why this relationship is being detected? So let me show you. So when I go to the model view, we have report view, we have table view. Let me go to the model view. When I go to model view, you will notice there is a relationship detected between the sales orders database, sales orders table, and the CRM table. Why there is a relationship being detected? Well, if you notice over here, in this particular two database, we have a column customer ID in CRM. We also have customer ID in sales order. By why there is no relationship being formed between this database, sales order, and inventory listing? This is because there is a difference in terms of spelling. Here we have inventory code. Here we have inventories code. So you notice carefully, the spelling is not the same. When the spelling is not the same, the relationship will not be detected automatically. So in this case, we need to actually manually create the relationship. So I select this inventory code, use my mouse, select this, and drag it and put it over here. So when I drag and put it over here, so now there is a new relationship being formed, and I just have to press save. And as a result, you will notice there is a relationship. Next thing is, I want to create a dashboard because I want to know what is the total sales of each inventories, and I want to know the total sales from the particular customers. So I'm going to go to this report view over here. What is my intention is, I want to create actually a 2-page report. So first thing is, I'll just click on this clustered bar chart. So over here we have the clustered bar chart, and then what I want to do next is, I want to know the customer. So I will just click the customer, and also I want to click on the total sales. So once I click total sales, you will notice that this particular company, Echo Industry, is the biggest customer in this company. And then I want to actually enable my data label so that my manager can see what is the figures. But if just say the manager want to see the whole numbers, the entire figures instead of short form, I go to data label, I go to value, and then what I do is, instead of auto, I put it as none. And just like that, we have the figures. But the problem is, my manager is not able to interpret whether it's 26 million or 2.6 billion. So what I need to do is, I need to select the total sales. Select this. You don't tick or untick. You need to select this, and you click on this 1000 separator. So you click it on here, click on the comma, you will notice we can eventually interpret the figures. But what if right now my manager actually wants to know the top 10 sales? So what I can do is, here we have the filter pane. Instead of customer is all, what we do is, we put here, instead of basic filtering, we put here top, and we put here 10. So top, it's up to you whether you want to choose top or bottom. I'm going to choose here top 10, and I'm not able to press apply filter. So total sales, put it over here and apply filter. And just like that, we have the top 10 sales. And then what I want to do next is, I also want to have a clustered column chart. So I'm going to click on clustered column chart. So here we have a clustered column chart. And then what I want to do is, I also want to show the date. So I want to click on the year and the months, and I want to show the total sales. So we have sales from January up to August 1st. And then over here, I can just go to format your visual and turn on the data label. So we have these figures over here. And then I can also go to add further analysis, go to the average line and click add line. And eventually we have this average line over here. So now what I want to do next is, I also want to show a particular slicer. So I'm going to click over here. I'm going to click on the slicer over here, and I'm going to click on the date. So now we have a slicer dedicated for the date. So just let me adjust accordingly. Okay, so now if just say, let me just adjust. So if just say the manager wants to know the sales from April 1st up to August 1st, 2024. So I'm going to select here, So I want to select April, 1st April, and I want to select August. So let me just click over here. Okay, so August and 1st. So just like that, we have the details from 1st April up to August 1st. And then you can also have another slicer. So I'm going to click here. We have another slicer over here. Okay, so this is the slicer. Okay, so let me just adjust accordingly. And this slicer, I want to know dedicated for the states. So we have the states over here. So if just say I click Kedah, it will show me for Kedah. If just say I click Penang, it will show me for Penang. And if I click Perak, it will show me for Perak. So this is dedicated for states. So what I'm going to do next is, I just want to go to format your visual and put it into a tiles format. So this is actually a tiles format. You want to do in this format also can, or you want to also choose in a drop down also can. So I'm going to put here in a drop down format. So this is a drop down format, as you can see over here. Okay, and then I also want to show a cut. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to click the cut over here, and I want to click the total sales. So over here we do have the cut, and here the manager can see what is the total sales from 1st April 2024 to 1st August 2024. So this is the details. We know the customer, we know the sales, and then you can also show the details of the data. Maybe I want to create the second page. So the second page, what I want to do is, I also want to create the slicer. You can actually copy and paste, but I'll do it one more time. So this one is for the states, and let me just go over here, slicer settings, and I put here in a tiles format. So now we do have in a tiles format. Let me just adjust, and I also want to show a field map. Let me click on the field map, and let me click on states. So now what happened is, it will show us the map, the particular region which has the sales. So if you notice, we don't have sales in Negeri Sembilan and Melaka. So when I click Pahang, it will show me the sales in Pahang. When I click Kedah, it will show me the sales in Kedah, Johor, Kelantan, Pahang. And then what I want to do next is, I also want to actually show the sales of each inventories. So what I want to do is, I want to go to the inventories listing. I click on inventories, and I tick on total sales. So now we notice that in Pahang, we have compressor which dominate the sales. And we have here Perak. Perak, we have ATG system dominate the sales. And the same thing for Sabah as well. So now let me just sort this in a descending order. So when I click here sort in descending order, we notice that parts kits dominate in Sabah. When I click Sarawak, we notice that compressor dominates in Sarawak. Okay, so now what I want to do next is, I also want to tell a story. So I go to total sales, I put it over here. So right now we do have two total sales column, but for this one, I want to show the percentage of grand total. So in this case, my manager can see what is the story behind the numbers and who dominates the market. So we can use Power BI not only to clean data or visualize data, but we can also perform data storytelling in Power BI.